Good afternoon. It's just 20 past 12 on Wednesday the 28th of November, and you've joined me on a session over on the little river Lem again, or Lem, whichever you want to call it. And we've had a few frosts the past few days, been really cold, and now suddenly it's gone mild, so it's gone from 5 degrees yesterday up to, I think it's 13 when I just got out the car now. And it's been quite cloudy and overcast. There was an awful lot of rain through the night and this morning. It's put a tiny little bit more pace on the river, and I thought I'd fancy coming over and fishing for a few roach and a few chub and dace and perhaps some perch as well, we'll see. So what I've done is I've rigged up a little 11-foot rod that's got about a pound test curve on it. I've got my favourite centre pin on here, which is a replica match aerial. It's not an actual match aerial, it's a more modern one, but it does the same function. And I've actually got £6 straight through. I've got £6 straight through because there's an awful lot of snags in all of these little swims at the moment. The river needs a good clear out. And on here I've got a little 3 number 4 stick float. I've already roughly plumbed the depth. I've got a couple of number 4 down here tailing off to a number 8 about 6 inches from the hook, and I've got a size 14 hook on at the moment so that I can put a bit of bread on, put a bit of bread paste on if I want, and I've got some maggots as well, and we're going to see how we get on. I've already mixed up a tiny little bit of liquidised bread, and I've got some cheese paste with me, as I've said. I've got some bread flake with me, which is probably what I'm going to start on first of all, and then I've got some maggots as well if we don't do any good, and perhaps catch smaller stuff on maggots. I've also brought my keep net with me today, which if we do any good I'm probably going to put in, but I'm going to start in this swim today. It's one I haven't fished before. It comes down, it's very narrow here, and then it widens out. I'll pan the camera around shortly so that you'll be able to see. And I've already dripped in just a couple of tiny little amounts of liquidised bread, very tiny amounts that have been trundling downstream while I've been getting set up. So I'll move the camera around the other side so that you can watch the float going down, because it's far more interesting than watching my ugly mug, and we'll make a start and see if we can get something. I could have quiver tipped today, probably would have been the best bet over here with so little flow still, but I thought if I bring the float, if there is any flow for me to be able to have a trot down in 1 or 2 places, I can do that, and also I can also just lay on with the float, so effectively ledgering with it, for those of you that don't know what that means, which I'll perhaps demonstrate a little bit later on. But basically it's just a matter of pushing the float up so that it's grossly over depth, and moving all your split shot down so your split shot are lying on the bottom and the float is more or less sitting up at half cock. Right, got a little bit of bread flake on. Take that off and just drop it in. I'll have to thumb it off the reel quite a bit because there just isn't enough to get oh, and here we are. I did have one straight away then, it's just let go. honest. Took me right by surprise then, looked like a small chub or something. Yeah, it was right up at the front here, right at the head of the swim. And, missed it. Well, that's encouraging anyway. I'm just going to take one or two of these reeds down that are in the way of me casting. Should have done that at the start really, but I don't like to demolish the undergrowth unless I have to. Right. That was good. Just squeeze that round the shank of the hook, making sure that the point's still exposed. Yeah, getting a few little dibs on the float again already, and yep, here we are, we got one. Beautiful. Looks like our first fish of the day could be a roach. Here it comes. Oh, I think we can just about swing that in, and that isn't bad, is it? Oh, just want to disgorge it. That's better. That's not bad for a start off. Beautiful pristine river roach. I'll put him in the landing net a minute and put him in the landing net. Do we get one or two more? And then I'll get the keep net in then. Got an umbrella just in case it does rain, because I did forecast it. As I said, just a tiny little bit of bread mashing, very tiny. Don't want to overfeed it here. I don't really know what's in this swim. It isn't too long a trot down or anything, so there we go. Right, drop that back in. So there's not really enough flow to actually pull line off the pin. I'll just have to thumb it off gradually, a little bit at a time. go. Oh, missed it. I'm just about scraping the bottom is how I've set it at the moment. I might have to shallow up a little bit or go a bit deeper. It's often the way in these small rivers is you come across these pockets of fish that are located in just certain little spots on here. Yeah, here we are. Ooh, putting up quite a reasonable little fight. There we go, small chub. Oh, still. Absolutely pristine. I think we will get the landing net out, get the keep net out in a moment. I'll just see if I can get one or two more, and then that's what we'll do. Don't really want to put it in if we're only going to catch a couple of fish, and then I've got to reel it in and before we move to the next swim. That feels like it could be some rain coming over. I'm not bothered about me getting wet because I've got a decent coat on. I'm not too far from the car, it's just the camera. Right. Tiny, tiny, tiny amounts of liquidised bread. That's just right at float. I haven't fished for any roach over here for a number of years, but there always used to be some very good roach in here at one point in time. There's a submerged branch a bit further down. As I get down towards there, I'm always expecting that'll be the spot that I'm going to get a bite from. Yes, I'm probably going back carp fishing again tomorrow, so now that it's gone a little bit milder, but that's why I thought I'd come over here and fish this through today. We're getting an awful lot more rain tomorrow as well, so it'll be too much then, and I'll be better off coming back over here once it's fine down a little bit. There we are. Right, I think we'll put the keep net in and concentrate on this spot. Oh, that's nice. Nice dace there. It's a good size and all. Right, I'll put them in the landing net a moment. And I'll get the keep net out. Right. Oops. Sinking. I'll put the keep net in because I think we might do well here and get a reasonable net of fish, which would be fun to look at the end. I know they're not all huge, they're not everybody's cup of tea, but it's a good bit of fun for a couple of hours. And as I said, the weather's been all over, so with the cold and that. So. Yeah, it's running down there, quite nice that is. Probably scared the fish a minute when I just put that keep net in, although I was obviously as careful as I could. They probably moved a bit further down the swim now, but they'll settle and come back in a bit. I'm going to keep fishing with the bread for a little while and see what we can amass, and a bit of paste, and then I might go over to the maggot a little bit later just in case there's any nice perch kicking about. But it's supposed to be lashing it down this afternoon, so we'll see what happens. As I said, just a tiny little pinch of mashed bread, doesn't want to be any more than that. Don't want to overfeed the fish, just want to attract a few in, keep them interested, and then literally lay that in there. Make sure the bait's in front of the float. Got a bit of interest already, I think. Funny when you fish little bits like this, which spots the various species of fish lie in. The dace tend to be in the actual middle in the current, whereas the chub and the roach tend to be to the sides, and the roach especially tend to be in the much quieter water. Always make sure that that line stays back behind the float. Once it starts to bow and get in front of the float, it drags the float and naturally, missed that one talking, drags the float and naturally, and you'll never get anything then. Lay it at the start there, make sure the bait goes in front of the float, make sure that your line stays behind the float, and we've got a touch already. Get a mend in there. There we are. Just over the other side, out of the crease of the main current. Looks like another small chub. Lovely, absolutely lovely. Good future for the river, that's the main thing. Very important. Right, had a bit of fun on the bread and caught a few on the bread. Feels like the rain's coming down. So I'm just going to swap over to a maggot, or 2 maggots. 2 red maggots on the size 14. I'm not going to change and go down in case I want to go back to fishing the bread or the paste in a bit. So, but I think we'll probably get bites a little bit quicker on the maggot. And as I said, if there's any perch about, we'll probably get some perch as well. Missed it. Still bring it back up to the start of the swim and just let it go back down again. There we go. Oh goodness gracious. A minnow. Well, I never. Haven't caught one of those for a little while. Oh, he's wriggly and all. Oh, in you go. There we go. Took a little while, but we got one in the end. Tearing all round the swim. Little roach again. There we go. It's alright, I forgot to disgorge to my other jacket, but I'll just use a bit of reed as a makeshift one. We'll have a look at them at the end. Yeah, there's another one. Oh, pestered by minnows. Right, I'll go back to the bread. Right, I'm going to move up to one of the other swims now. I retained a few of the nicer little chub and the roach just to have a look at the end, and I had a few minnows. I've put 1 or 2 others back as well, but I'm getting a little bit damp. The rain's getting under the umbrella and so's the camera, so I'm going to work my way back towards the car now, find a swim nearer to the car and have a little trot down there, see if I can get a few there. Steady does it. The leaves are a little bit on the slippy side. I've decided just to come down to this swim right by the road bridge and have a fish for a few minutes. It's quite near the car, and just have a trot down here, see if I can get something from here. I was getting rather wet at the other swim, so I've come back and I've put most of the gear back in the car, give the camera a bit of a dry, and just decided to have a go here. I've brought the maggots with me, put the bread and that back in the car. I'm just going to see if I can run the stick float down the far side over there. What you've got is the road bridge up here. It's only about 20 yards up from me. It's quite shallow under the road bridge. And then it runs down. It's mainly blocked off this side. There's just a little narrow sort of gap over the other side where the water is running through. And it's all sort of just dead water here, not moving at all. So the fish will be probably concentrated over that part there. I'll leave the float set at the 3 foot for the other swim a minute, and we'll try and have a run down. It's not ideal here. As you can see by the leaves that are going round and round, it's quite a bit of back eddy just there. Need to really get a little bit further across. Without falling in, obviously. Here's one. There we go. Small dace. It's a bit of interest. Yep, we're in. So it's a little bit better than the last one. There we go, nice little roach. Oh, still, you little devil. Well, it's a bit lively. But a nice little roach. Just a couple of maggots. It's a little precarious out here. I'm standing on some rocks. Here we are. That one has come off. Just amazing what you get from here. Well, I think it wants a bit of a work party over here, and a few of these branches and that clearing without spoiling it, but just to make it a bit more fishable. Oof. Wind's old, there we are. That wind's holding the float back, it's that strong there. We'll see if we can get one more, because as you can see, the rain's coming back down again now, and a bit heavier this time. But I'll see if I can get one more fish, and then I think we'll wrap it up before we get the camera damaged. Yeah, there's a good little pocket of fish here. I've barely fed this at all, and getting quite a number of reasonable roach here. Right, I am getting decidedly wet, so I am going. Oh. It's time to save face. All my maggots are escaping. Well, it's certainly been a fun few hours. I've enjoyed myself this couple of hours that I've been out, but the rain's relentless, it's still coming down. The camera's starting to get a little bit wet, so I think I'm going to call it a day, end on that roach that I had, and get away while the going's good. Anyway, once again, thank you ever so much for watching, and until the next time, all the best with your angling.